I'm a bad motherfucker.
CNN, this is according to Island News, CNN, written by Jeremy Lee, CNN debate criteria not backed by FEC regulation. What are you talking about? Well, the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, has confirmed with Island News that the designation given by CNN to President Biden and Trump to appear exclusively in a June televised debate is not officially recognized. So this is all about RFK wanting to get into those debates, right? So CNN says, no, we're only going to have the presumptive nominees. Island News asked the FEC if the designation presumptive nominee, which CNN has cited to numerous press outlets to justify a direct pass for the former presidents, is used at all by the FEC.
Wow, that is smart.
Because
he's a real lawyer, RFK.
So when they have these debates, it's before Joe Biden and Donald Trump will be declared the nominees by either party, because it's not until August that the Democratic. So they're going to have it at the end of June.
Real sloppy work by all these groups.
Real sloppy
stuff that's illegal. It's almost like this has been going on for a while.
So the Island News asks the FEC if this presumptive nominee, is this part of your thing? And that phrase is not in the FEC's debate regulation, an FEC spokesperson told Island News. Island News asked the co-chairman of the Commission on Presidential Debates if the term presumptive nominees, CNN's oft-referred designation of the former presidents, is ever used to meet debate participation criteria. No, the co-chairman Frank Furkakopuk wrote, until the conventions take place, we don't know who the nominees will be. And then after being informed of the discrepancy, CNN would not respond to direct inquiry into if the presumptive nominee designation was invented by the network's communications department for the purposes of arguing legitimacy for the June 27th debate. Presumptive nominee is also not recognized by any secretaries of state that were contacted as part of this investigation. The Hawaii Office of Elections also confirmed that there are currently no candidates officially on the ballot, but it has been political parties that have one ballot access to be exercised later this year. As previously reported, Kennedy has filed an FEC complaint alleging CNN, Biden, and Trump flagrantly violated the Federal Election Campaign Act requirement that media broadcasters use pre-established and objective criteria to determine candidate participation. So they're just making up this term presumptive nominee to make sure that Biden and Trump can be included in it without RFK.
Wait, like how they made up breakthrough pain and breakthrough infection, gender affirming care, and every other thing?
Failure to use objective criteria renders the debate a campaign contribution subject to strict donation limits. This is from Kennedy's own website. So he figured this out because he's a lawyer.
Wow. But there is nothing objective. That's white colonialism to think there's objective reality.
Mm-hmm. CNN's published debate criteria require that a candidate's name must appear on a sufficient number of state ballots to reach the 270 electoral vote threshold. But CNN is holding Kennedy to this requirement, but is not requiring President Biden and Trump to meet this requirement by claiming they are the presumptive nominee. There's no such thing. This means that CNN and every member of CNN who is participating in planning, executing, and holding this debate is at risk of prosecution, as happened to Michael Cohen for violating campaign finance laws. This is from Kennedy Strahan's website. This risk is now acute, given that any further violation would be knowing and willful, and thus could carry with it serious jail time. So this is his campaign manager, Stephanie, or communications director, I'm not sure which. She says FEC just made clear the phrase presumptive nominee is not in the FEC's debate regulation, and therefore CNN will violate federal law if they keep Robert Kennedy Jr. off the debate stage. Then RFK said this: with FEC's recent statement, it appears beyond doubt that if I'm left off the stage, the debate will violate campaign finance laws, and CNN and its staff are knowingly and willfully violating these laws.
So what are you going to do about it?
Well, I know. So the problem is, as RFK, I'm sure, is acutely aware of, you need now someone in law enforcement, in the justice system, to then prosecute them.
Yeah.
And so that's not going to happen. But he's correct. Maybe he could file a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And then he
has some plan, right?
Yeah, so yeah. Laurie Spencer says the press release is based upon a statement. Okay, so she's saying this press release about the FEC saying this is based upon a statement quoted in Island News, not an actual FEC ruling on your complaint, correct? Because he did file the complaint, but the FEC hasn't ruled. I can't find a ruling. I couldn't either. I couldn't find that ruling, but I did find the Island News report. Have they had a hearing on your complaint yet? Has a date been set for that? So I haven't seen an answer to that question by Laurie Spencer. But here is what Christian Movic tweeted out. The FEC has confirmed that the presidential debate that is to be hosted by CNN on June 27th is in violation of the law. According to FEC law, there must be objective requirement to make it onto the presidential debate stage. One of CNN's requirements says that a candidate must be on the ballot in enough states to have, okay, we already covered this. Okay. So that's all according to Island News. And they're reporting saying that the FEC has responded to them. So I have two predictions. Well, three. One, RFK is right. I think he's right. Legally, he's right. The second one is he will not be included in that debate. And three, there will be no legal ramifications for the people violating the law, the people at CNN or anywhere else.
It will be a much better roast battle with him, man.
It would be, and I'm really pulling for RFK to be in this debate because it would be a much better debate.
Yeah,
a much better. It wouldn't be better when it came to Israel Gaza, but it would be much better in every other aspect. Right?
I bet he won't be there, but Biden will still turn and debate to him.
It's like Twitter under Musk. It's not perfect, but it's much better than every other social media platform. And so this debate with RFK would be better than every other debate.
Yeah.
Much, much better.
But they don't want him there.
They don't want him in. People who are fans of Joe Biden certainly don't want him in there. And people who are fans of Donald Trump don't want him in there because RFK can nail him on COVID, and because Trump still wants credit for that vaccine. And then he could also nail Biden on Ukraine and also on COVID. So he could be a real wrecking ball, RFK. It would be. I think it would be a great service to democracy.
Surely there's somebody that works in the intelligence community that is on the side of the oath they took, right? There's got to be somebody.
Not that I've seen. Have you seen anybody that works in the intelligence community?
I mean, they would have
they vet those people.
Yeah,
those people are vetted.
That's what I'm saying. They
just like reporters.
You wouldn't be able to see them because how would you ever survive in there unless you didn't tell nobody?
Isn't it amazing how?
Look, probably there's not, but I would hope there's somebody.
Isn't it amazing how they just fired all the Muslim people over on-air people at MSNBC and Rachel Maddow and fake tough guy Lawrence O'Donnell and nerd Chris Hayes? None of them said shit.
Well, they say
none of them said shit.
They say what's on the thing.
They just let it happen.
Hey, I'm
isn't
just
it amazing?
Apart, man. Hey, first priority is not. See, you care too much about this stuff. First priority is getting a good job, getting your face on TV, and going to that party that Bill Maher fired his agents for not getting them into. That's the first priority. You can't help nobody else till you help yourself, Jimmy. So make sure you're not going to get fired first. You don't want to end up like one of these, people that have integrity. So that's why it's like that. Well, I don't know why you would expect anything different at this point It's like people that think Disney was always evil. It was always an evil propaganda thing, hand in hand with CIA and Nazi shit. Werner von Braun had a whole bunch of rocket specials on it. It was always bad. It wasn't ever good. If you think it was, you haven't looked into it enough.
Okay, over to Steph.
All right. Did you hear a new UN report out today called the Genocide and Extermination Campaign? Which is worse. It means they just want to kill everybody, regardless of ideology. May Jess, thank you. Camera 4 beside me, pretty please. Vienticus Prime, thank you so much. Hannah, sir, people sacrifice others out of obedience and fear of their own parents, who had in turn sacrificed them to their own needs. Alice Miller explains this in her books, e.g. Story of Abraham/Isaac. Thank you.
Perpetrator-victim cycle. And then you pretend to be a victim, but act as a perpetrator.
Right.
Yeah.
S-Bad Norb, thank you so much. Vienticus Prime, thank you so much. S-Bad Norb, thank you again. I get Juneteenth off. My real name, Go Blacks.
The Daily Wire.
Russia should tell the West that if they keep supplying offensive weapons to Ukraine to be used OD Russian territory, Russia will provide nukes to Iran. Benino. Spider Fan, thank you, Spider Fan. J.K. Michael, thank you so much, J.K. Michael.
No.
Received my 3 bags of 1775
I got
coffee.
jokes from Rick.
Oh,
No.
stand by. Burmy brother received my 3 bags of 1775 coffee and got the premium peaberry. Very aromatic. Did you know Rob Schneider was escorted off the stage during his performance in Regina, Canada? I'd love to see him live. Burmy, I don't think he was escorted. Was he escorted? Was Rob escorted? I don't remember him saying that.
No, he said he did his time.
Yes.
I think he got escorted out of the room, but he was just up there crushing it, doing he was doing his jokes about about COVID and the vaccine, and he was doing his jokes about the new gender controversy in America. Did you find it?
They're for sure up there. I remember well.
All right, go big screen camera 4 right now.
Wait, was he in
Thank you.
Riley Gaines' danger because of his gender jokes? And he had to be escorted out.
Okay, Triple O tomfoolery. Do we still call Haitians who freed themselves from the French terrorists? So why does Ben or anyone continue to make these false equivalencies of Hamas? Do we still call Haitians?
I think worry about the larger issue and not that. That's kind of dumb. What you got to understand is a bunch of people don't ever get bogged down in this current crime. If you're going to go about how Israel's illegitimate, you're going to loot. People are getting killed now, so you got to deal with the fact at hand. You can worry about that shit. That's what that person.
Right, I
don't
gotcha.
get caught up in minutia.
So just so you know what the comment was, Jimmy, do we still call Haitians who freed themselves from the French terrorists? So why does Ben or anyone continue to make the false equivalency of Hamas
I
being
see what you're
evil
saying.
after 80 years of Zionist apartheid?
Yeah, I'm certainly more sympathetic.
Go to Jimmy.
I'm certainly more sympathetic to people who fight back against an occupation than the people
Right.
who are occupying.
But if you're trying to get the point to someone
Right.
you need to get it to, who feels
Right.
they're terrorists because they terrorize the population, maybe don't get hung up on that, because the larger issue is Israel made these terrorists
That's
themselves,
right. That's what we're saying.
and then planned an attack on their own people. So that way they don't have to make the leap of going, oh, Gaza's right. They don't have to do that. They can see what their own supposed keeping them safe country did to them.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Vanticus, thank you so much for your generosity. Illuminati graduate candidates are blood oath inducted into sect upon something being inserted in their anus. Tiller?
Is that a joke, or he knows some information?
I don't know. I was wondering if
That
they
is
just...
the eye in the pyramid, your butthole, just so you know.
I did not know.
Yeah.
Oh, come
A hole's
on.
a hole is their secret knowledge.
Hey, conspiriality. Ben's Swans reporting makes perfect sense when paired together with the motive explained perfectly by Richard Medhurst. And thank you for the link as well. Hannah, people sacrifice others out of obedience. Oh, I read that one right, Hannah.
Ben made a great point that they keep making the same movie over and over again. Just like they're hacks of movies, they use the same plan. So that plan there is 9/11. That's the main point to get across to somebody if you explain it to them.
I don't know if I read this one, Hannah, sir. This is all about people passing their trauma forward, inflicting it on new victims instead of turning and facing their original perpetrators, their parents, and their own early victimization. Hannah, sir.
Okay.
Hannah, sir, what do you do for a living? Thank you, Tiller. All right, back to Jim Jam.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical grace soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, you know, the babies that have been murdered, you know, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, you know, money poor people. You know, this government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But you know, something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. You know, we don't really know what war is. You know, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, you know, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison. But they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, you know, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, you know, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators. And they're going to have riots on their hands. You know, they're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. You know, we have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating, you know, what we need, what needs to be done. And, you know, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. I mean, you know, don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, you know, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, you know, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, you know, this system and those backing the officials running the system, you know, want people to believe that revolution means violence, you know, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, they get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just MOVE babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.